introduction. Introduce me yourself.
Yes. So my name is Malay Khare. I'm a 2021 graduate from Electronics and Telecommunication from University of Pune. I have a GATE score of 480 in 2023 EC, and I have a CGPA of 9.2 in my Bachelor's of Engineering. My area of interest is in semiconductor and is it in image processing.
So why you have specific interest in image processing? Any prior experience you have?
Yes, sir. So image processing, I was fascinated while I was being taught by IIRS, which is a wing of ISRO. It specializes in satellite data processing and everything. So from there, I got my interest. I got it hooked on digital images. And from there, I also have won a mapathon, an All India mapathon organized by ISRO, where I had won among many hundreds of members.
Okay. So for how much duration you were there?
For in IRS, the training was for around 3 months. It was completely online because it was during 2020, and we had to give an exam. And after the exam, I was awarded the certificate of training as well.
Okay, so can you tell me in brief about what is the meaning of image processing? What does it basically mean?
So image processing generally is termed after the image, the signals are being quantized, the operations which can handle on the images, on the pixels, on the values, is generally termed as image processing, where we use different operations to make a meaningful, to extract the meaningful data from the image. So this is a basic gist of image processing.
Okay, fine. I got your point. So can you tell me basically, have you studied about convolutional neural networks?
Yes, sir. I am aware of CNN and convolutional neural networks. These are a part of AI-based image recognition tools, which use, I believe, neural networks as well, and to determine the shape or any feature extraction from the image. I haven't studied it extensively, but I am aware of the tool, CNN.
Okay, so let us suppose, I need to remove, noise from the image using image processing technique. Can you explain a bit about this?
So using image processing techniques, we can make use of certain filters depending on what noise is present and also
Okay,
what kind of image is there.
can you tell me name of some filter?
So a filter includes a high pass and a low pass filter generally for blurring or sharpening. There are many filters named after various scientists. I'm not aware of specific ones.
Okay, have you ever studied Gaussian filtering?
Gaussian filtering, I'm aware of the tool on how it operates, but I don't know the theory behind it. I have used it in my softwares quite a multiple times.
Okay, so can you tell me my last question? Do you have any idea how can image processing be used for object detection and recognition? And what are the some popular algorithm and technique used for the task? If you have any idea about this, please put insight on this.
Yes, so a popular example would be, which I have implemented in my final year project. It was a facial recognition. In facial recognition, what the processing tool does is it observes the contours. So every face has two contours, which are the eyes. So the processing algorithm finds the two contours from the image. Like the contours, everyone's eye has a sort of oval or a circular shape. So if we use the contour filter, we can identify the various contours which are in their image, and we can thus classify the objects. This is for facial recognition, and for other devices, it varies from object to object and image to image.
So I got your point, Malay. So you have done, one training in image processing. You are coming from the electronics background. You think that biomedical is not a suitable domain for you? You could have started with the signal processing and some other core domain of the electronics and communication. Then why you want to go that too for MS in biomedical? Any specific reason?
Yes, so for a specific reason, I could find this because in my final year project, I was engrossed in the application of image processing in biomedical, in hospital and healthcare fields. So from there, it sparked somewhere that biomedical also has a lot of implications, and the most of the contribution which I can make through image processing and learning more about image processing is in the biomedical field. So that is why I have chosen biomedical, not signal processing.
Okay, fine. So do you have a, idea about medical imaging system?
Medical imaging systems, I'm not aware, but I'm certainly sure that there are MRIs, CT scans, and all that come under that umbrella. But I'm not 100% sure on the theory part, theoretical definition. Sorry.
Okay, so during your entire B.Tech curriculum, do you have an exposure of some languages like MATLAB, C, and Python? Do you know any one of these?
Yes. In my bachelor's course, we had a specific course called DSP, Digital Signal Processing, which entirely focused on the MATLAB codes, where we learned how to write codes and how to process signals in through MATLAB. And for others, I have completed a course on Udemy for Python from zero to hero by Dr. Jose Portiala.
Okay, so what was your biggest learning from that course, MATLAB course?
MATLAB course. So in MATLAB course, I came to know that MATLAB is not really a tool only for matrix operations, but we can also simulate multiple objects and multiple systems inside it. So that was quite fascinating for me, where I could model cameras, where I could import camera units, and I can capture the images and test on and simulate on that camera units.
Okay, tell me what is difference between sampling and quantization?
Sir, in sampling, generally the signal which is in the input is a continuous time signal, but in the case of quantization, it is in the form of discrete discrete time continuous signal. So
I'm not still convinced with your answer. I thought you just told us a bookish answer. What is the basic difference? Let us suppose I'm giving you one signal that is a continuous time domain, right?
Yes.
So what you will get after sampling and what you will get after quantization? Tell me in brief only.
Sir, in case of sampling, if you provide a continuous time signal, depending on the sampling time interval, you will receive the values of the signal at the specific time where the sampling interval is
So
there.
what will be the nature of the signal after sampling?
Sir, it would be a discrete continuous signal.
Discrete in what? Discrete in amplitude or discrete in time?
Time.
Okay, and what we do after quantization?
Sir, in quantization, depending on the values and the threshold parameters, we quantify the incoming input signal into specific digital values.
So if I'm quantizing one signal, then what will be the nature of this signal? It will be discrete or it will be continuous?
I'm sorry, in quantization case, if the input is in discrete time domain.
Yeah, no. My question is, you told me that after sampling, the signal will be discrete in time domain, right?
Yes.
So after quantization, what will be the nature of signal? Will it be discrete? Will it be continuous? What is your take on this?
Sir, it would be in digital format, I believe. It would be encoded in digital formats.
Okay, it will be encoded that, but I believe digital format you will get after encoder. I am asking after quantizer only.
Okay. So after immediately quantization, what will be the format? So I'm not exactly sure on what the format is, but I can.
You told me, na, you are quantizing. You are providing. Let us suppose, okay. I'm giving you one practical situation.
Okay.
Let us suppose there are 100 people standing out in front of you, and you need to categorize them into 10 categories.
Okay.
So you are coming from 100 to 10. What is this? Don't you think it is the discretization itself?
Yes, it is a sort of discretization where
So it is a discretization in the amplitude axis, right?
Yes. So where a range of values is being compressed into a single value. So like you mentioned, from 100 you get 10. So 0 to 10 get one value, 11 to 20 get one value. So this is some sort
of. What will be nature?
The
nature will be discrete or not?
Yes, sir. It would be discrete.
Okay, tell me what is difference between periodic and aperiodic signal?
So in case of periodic signals, the time period is specific. So after a specific time period, you will see the same value getting repeated. But in case of aperiodic signal,
what is that time period name?
It's the fundamental frequency.
Fundamental frequency or fundamental time?
Time period. Sorry. Time period. Fundamental time period.
Okay. So what do you mean by the harmonic frequency?
So in case of harmonic frequencies, like for case of odd and even signals, there are some harmonics present inside once you convert it into the Fourier
domain. What is that harmonic? What is the meaning of that name harmonic? Again, I'm asking the same thing. I don't want to use the harmonic name. What is the meaning of that harmonic?
So from what I understand from harmonic is any signal which can be represented in form of multiple sinusoids. That is the gist of Fourier. And there is a principal sinusoid, and there are some other sinusoids.
Okay, I have two sine waves. One sine wave is having frequency of omega, other sine wave is having frequency of 1.5 omega. Are
Okay.
these harmonics or not?
Sir, I don't think these are harmonics because they need to be in integer, not in decimals.
Okay, earlier you told me about the sampling interval. What is that sampling interval? How you decide about that sampling interval?
Sir, we decide the sampling interval based on the Nyquist for criteria,
What
and
is
it
that
should be
Nyquist criteria?
greater than twice the maximum frequency or equal to.
I'm talking about the Nyquist interval. I'm not talking about the sampling frequency. There
Okay,
is
so then
difference.
yes. Frequency and time period have an inverse relation. So if it is twice the frequency, that means it's the half the time period.
Okay, so currently which all gadget you are using? Which all electronics gadget you are using?
Right now, as a complex gadget, I'm using a laptop and a mobile device.
Okay. So any of the wearable biomedical device you use, some Fitband, some digital watches, and which are monitoring our health data and everything. Are you using these kind of devices?
Yes. I used to use the Fitband, but recently it had some water issues. But another example I can give you is the oximeter, which we used during COVID.
Okay, can you tell me, what is basically the contribution you can make into the wearable medical devices and oximeter? As you told that being an electronics fellow, I would like
Yes.
to contribute for the advancement in the field of biomedical.
So
So, are you accustomed
yes,
with these wearable medical devices, and what
yes,
are
yes,
the further
absolutely.
advancement you can do?
Absolutely. So in my final year project, I was approached by an industry for
You
making a.
was approached by industry or you approached
Yes,
industry?
I was approached using contacts. So
Okay,
they wanted an engineer to design a catheter. So they
okay,
had a catheter where
okay,
the CTI, the UTI, sorry, urinary tract infection can be reduced. So they
okay,
needed to monitor that. So a wearable device could include a catheter. So catheter is a device which is generally used for elderly people where they have urine problems. So
okay,
where I helped them during creation of sensors using temperature and non-invasive temperature sensing.
okay.
So there was my contribution. So I'm very much adept with the variable part of biomedical, and even in my final year bachelor's of engineering project, I have used ECG, temperature, as well as other sensors to track through the variable devices. So strap-ons, bands, and other non-invasive techs.
Okay, so Malay, let me sum up this. The very first thing is that since you have done project on the image processing, right? So image processing is a very important topic, and this is the great thing through which you can also put weight that you had some prior hands-on experience on image processing and all,
Okay.
and these experiences can be very important in the biomedical domain. But
Okay.
if you're talking them about image processing, then you must be very clear about what are the different kind of the filter used, right? So
Okay.
basically, for object detection and recognition, what are some popular algorithm? At least you must have the idea, okay? Not in detail,
Okay.
right? Okay. So explain the concept of image segmentation. They can ask you these kind of question, and you must have a basic idea of CNN at least. Okay. So because
Yes.
these are very fundamental things in image processing. And second thing is that, as you told, you were being approached by some industry for some biomedical, setup and some biomedical device. So that
Yes.
is the only point where you can pitch in. You can say, sir,
Okay.
yes, I agreed. I am coming from the electronics and the communication background. But what I believe, it doesn't make me any different that I can't go for the biomedical. What I believe in today's world, every domain, be it biomedical, be it any of the domain, technology is having a great impact, right? And I had some preliminary hands-on experience on the technology, how to integrate them, be it in terms of the wearable medical devices, which many people are using in their daily life. For the
Okay.
same, I got an opportunity almost during my graduation days, but I couldn't proceed ahead with because of some commitment and these all things, right? So these are the domain what I believe where I can coordinate. Since I have a very
Okay.
good fundamentals understanding of the electronic circuit, how they operate, and how the technology can be integrated, and at the same time I have got some skill of the MATLAB and Python. Okay, if you don't have Python, don't mention Python. If you have MATLAB, then you can mention MATLAB, right? So on the basis of these all skills, I believe I am a tailor-made person for the biomedical domain, and I'm taking this as a challenge, and I'm looking forward to contribute effectively for the biomedical. And apart from this, what you can do since you are going for the MS program, at least visit IIT Madras biomedical area and see currently what they are doing. They can ask you one
Okay.
question: what is that area in which you want to work in IIT Madras? Okay, so that area you must be knowing. And better if your time allow related to that area, you can read at least 1 to 2 research paper, not more, 1 to 2 research paper. Currently, what is being done and where is the gap, where is the finding? Because when it comes to MS and PhD interview, they want to have the mindset of a researcher, to be honest, especially the IIT Madras professor. Okay. For MTech, I will never suggest go and read research paper, but MS and PhD is required because they are expecting at least from you. They will ask you, okay, let us suppose you tell them, sir, I want to work in, basically AI enabled biomedical devices. So they will ask you, okay, what you want to do in that? So then if you have that literature review from 1 to 2 research paper, that I was going through the website of IIT Madras, and I have seen currently Professor or Dr. XYZ is working on this domain. So I do have some findings and some problems which can be integrated with their research work, right? And that's why I believe IIT Madras is a suitable platform. Okay, so that basically stand out to different from the other people. Only for MS and PhD, keep this thing in mind for all IIT, not only for Madras. If you're getting interview call for MS, this is the basically thing you need to do. Don't go for 8 to 10 research paper. Go only for the, 1 and 2 research paper. At least you have some masala to discuss with there. Okay. And second thing, be thorough with the concept of mathematics and signal system. They are going to ask you only these things. Okay. Because signal system plays very, very important role, right?
Sir, also in the mail they have mentioned some books and some topics. So for PhD they have mentioned to prepare 2 topics, and for MS they have sir, it is related to biomedical. So it is related to image processing, communication, computer vision, DSP algorithm. So they have mentioned
obviously, you understand, obviously under such condition, I always suggest people, since you have already hands on the image processing that I have told in the beginning, right? But you understand one thing, it's very difficult to learn computer vision, deep learning algorithm within 5 to 7 days. For such kind of stuff, what I suggest always, go on the YouTube, watch some videos where everything is discussed for 30-35 minutes, and at least try to create that environment in your mind so that you can intercept what kind of question they are asking you, right? If I today tell you, okay, go and start reading the deep learning, you will get frustrated. You will not get anything, right? So right now, you don't need to go into depth. So that's what I'm saying. They are why they are putting that much burden? Because they are expecting something best they want to select. So if you have some preliminary idea of those all topic, you have some environment in your mind. And second thing, you have some question for them, that this is the basically area where I want to work. That question you will be not getting from the books. That question you will be getting from the research literature review, right? Okay, Malay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So they have mentioned a book which I have completed. So should I be expecting some questions on that, or should I not mention it? I should only mention the...
No. If they ask you what you have prepared, what are the topic you are comfortable, then you can mention, sir, from my graduate courses, I'm comfortable in analog signal mathematics, right? Apart from that, some books were shared or link was shared, and being an inquisitive person, I was really looking forward to learn what is mentioned in those books. So I have covered 1 book, okay, on initial stages. You can mention the name of that book also, right?
Okay, sir. So I'll mention it from apart from the research paper as well.
Right.
Okay, sir.
Okay, Malay.
So is there any addition?
Yes, please.
Is there any other addition you would like?
No, it's perfectly fine. Okay, you have good chances, so keep this point in mind. Okay.
Okay, sir. Definitely.
Okay, you may leave, please.
Thank you, sir.